Hello class, my name is Gabriel De La Cruz and today I will be speaking about Billy Sunday, the most interesting person that you have never heard about until today. Most likely. We'll see. Billy Sunday was originally born as William Ashley Sunday, born in Ames, Iowa on November 19th, 1862. His father wasn't around that much due to his early death in his life, and his mother fell on hard times. She, due to this, sent Billy to the Soldiers' Orphan Home. Billy was a little bit of a rebel and moved back and forth between multiple places until he wanted to figure out his own life. In doing so, he started baseball in 1883 after being signed by Cap Anson, who would become a future Baseball Hall of Famer. Billy would play for the Chicago White Stockings, then a couple years afterward moved to the Pittsburgh Pirates, and only about 2 years later moved to the Philadelphia Athletics team. Christianity Today mentioned that he had about a .261 batting average and 84 bases stolen, which is an impressive feat considering that baseball was just starting to become an America's pastime. Now, Billy did not particularly feel that baseball was enough for his life. He felt that there was something more out there that was calling him. Going with a friend to Pacific Garden Mission in Chicago, he found what he wanted. In 1886, he decided to pursue preaching. He quit baseball and focused his efforts into the Young Men's Christian Association, or the YMCA, and in other preaching practice became an assistant to J. Wilbur Chapman until 1896. After 1896, he pursued his solo career in trying to preach to multiple thousands of people about the message and spread of God. He, along with his wife, Helen A. Thompson, were Christian activists who decided to help multiple people learn about what it truly means to be a Christian and how the Christian world can be helped today. During his speeches, he was an unorthodox preacher. Not only was he not as poised as many of them, he was incredibly unnatural to most of the people during this time period. He moved around with his whole body, moving chairs and his arms, and did not stand rigid. He spoke with vulgarity, which most preachers looked down upon, and he also tried to be more welcoming to multiple people rather than exclude everyone due to their social status. His charisma made up for a lot of his problematic tendencies, but it also landed him in a lot of hot water. His political views were very different, which also led into his multiple speakings. During his preaches, he focused on modern topics like alcoholism and the public state during the time period. He also had a proclivity for one-liners such as this one that was particularly a good gem. Going to church doesn't make you a Christian any more than going to a garage makes you an automobile. A sharp tongue and a slightly less sharp mind, but he was a very interesting person during this time period. His beliefs had a long-lasting effect and major influences specifically to the temperance movement, which focused on trying to cut down many vices. Specifically, he had a anger and hatred toward drinking, believing it to be the devil's liquid and hating how it was affecting other people. His anti-alcoholism views also bled into multiple people's beliefs of the movement, which led to prohibition. And we all know how that turned out. Not only did he hate drinking, but he also hated 20s fashion and movies due to how he perceived it to be a problem to the current Christian values. With his death in 1935, his wife continued his legacy and helped multiple females as well with an evangelistic purpose. His speaking style and down-to-earth method of talking to other Christians was unheard of during the time and was very influential to how many modern-day speakers of the Christian faith talk, despite them not knowing it. He was eccentric, he was interesting, but most of all, he was a person who left his mark on hundreds of thousands of people by showing how a Christian person can also fit in to the current world state they were living in. And because of that, he had multiple important things that he did. And it is incredibly interesting how a person this influential gets swept under the rug of the history of the 1900s. Thank you for listening.